Welcome to the DOM 4.0 demonstration video. This video will be divided into two sections. The first section involves an overview of the objectives for milestones 1 and 2, as well as a summary of the technical steps that we have taken to achieve these goals. In the second part of the video, we will demonstrate the DOM platform itself and go through all its functionalities. So without further ado, let's just jump into it and start by looking at milestone 1. The objective of milestone 1 was stated as to demonstrate the first semantic data exchange across markets or data platforms. The table here shows or summarizes the technical steps that we took to achieve this milestone. So starting with the top part of the table, for the front end, new functionalities were added, such as to allow the users to search data with respect to keywords. So the keywords put in by the user gets passed to the backend to match with any relevant dataset. On the DOM homepage, a featured dataset is also given to demonstrate an example of the datasets that can be fetched through DOM. In addition, there is also an option to show further information about each of the datasets. Another important feature was that the user can register themselves and access the platform through Keycloak. A tab called My Profile is given to allow the users to view and edit their own profile information after registration. And in addition, users can click on a Contact tab and leave their feedback. Moving on to the backend part of the table. In the backend, connector scripts have been written to enable DOM to fetch data from data platforms, specifically Optimate and Market 4.0. This helps to achieve the goal of exchanging data across various markets or data platforms. In addition, we also try to map metadata schemas such as DCAT onto the DOM MO ontology as a proof of concept. This facilitates the goal of constructing a full semantic platform. Another important technical feature of the backend is the MongoDB database, to which data can be uploaded through DOM. Let's move on to milestone 2. The objective of milestone 2 is to achieve the first semantic brokering of data services with sovereignty, provenance, and clearing. To achieve these goals, additional features have been added, such as provider registration and new pages for searching the data. Advanced platform search filters have also been added to DOM to improve the user experience and allow more accurate search results to be returned. An external AIDA Lab service has also been connected to DOM, and this allows the users to visualize molecular structure data that has been found by the search in a much better way. In addition, a brokering service has been added to the DOM system. It connects with the front end through APIs and allows various functionalities such as searching for data and registering provider information. As an effort to make DOM 4.0 a fair and secure platform, a user access log that allows users to see their activities as well as the simple provenance information of data they have accessed has been constructed. Another important service that has been added to the DOM is the clearinghouse. The clearinghouse implemented Hyperledger Fabric blockchain technology, which enables the fast and secure storage of the user's information, access history, and additionally facilitate the business-to-business scenario by handling data access rights matters among various parties. After searching the DOM platform, the visibility of the full data results is limited depending on the user's access credentials, and this will be demonstrated later in the second part of this video. In the backend, connector scripts have been added that allows DOM to fetch data from not only Optimate and Market 4.0, but also another provider named Chemio. In addition, the ecosystem ontology developed in Work Package 3 has been integrated to the platform, and this ontology stores information about the different data providers, making DOM 4.0 a more semantic platform. Additionally, various showcase data are made available on DOM, and and these data entries are described according to the concepts of the data exchange ontology developed in Work Package 3. This enables more semantic exchange of data on the platform and extends the possibility of applying to other applications and identify new data sources. In the following, we will demonstrate the use of the DOME platform. Welcome page features. This is the DOME welcome page. It is divided into 4 sections. So over here we have an area where we can search for data, but this is only usable by users that are already registered on DOME and logged into DOME. On the right, we have some statistics showing the total number of data records currently on DOME and also the total number of unique creators for these data records. Moving down, we have a card with upcoming services, that is, things that DOME will offer in the future. And lastly, we have a featured data set. So this is a data record on DOME that is chosen at random just to show an example of what can be found on the platform. Moving up to the upper part of the screen, we have 2 tabs available to us before login. One of them is a simple home tab and the other one is a contact tab. So if we click this contact tab, we will be taken to the official DOME website where we can fill out a contact form and leave feedback about the platform. Lastly, we see in the upper right corner that we have a login button. User registration. We click the login button in the upper right corner to get to the login page. Now, if you are a new user on DOME, you can either click register or you can sign in using GitHub if you already have a GitHub account. We will now click register and fill out the information needed. Once you have added all the information, you can click register. And we are now logged into DOME. User profile. The user profile information can be accessed by clicking the My Profile dropdown in the upper right corner and choosing Profile Settings. So we click into this, are directed to Keycloak, and then we click this Personal Info card. Here we see that the username, email, first and last name that we just put into the registration form shows up. And if needed, we can edit our own personal information. Homepage tabs. Here we see the tabs of the DOME homepage. Note that 4 new tabs are showed up as a result of us logging into DOME. While the Contact tab was there before, we now also have an About tab, a Register tab, an Upload Data tab, and an Explore tab. Now, clicking into this Explore tab is equivalent to clicking this Advanced Search link right here, and it takes us to the page where we can actually search for data. By clicking this Upload Data tab, we get to a page where we can register data directly to DOME. In the Register tab, we can register a data provider, and the About tab gives a little bit of info about the DOME 4.0 project. In the upper right corner, we have the My Profile dropdown, as we saw earlier, which has profile settings and also access log. We will get into what this access log is a little bit later in the demo. Lastly, we have the logout button. Upload datasets. We will now upload a dataset to DOME with some battery materials data. Let's first go to the Explore page to see that the only catalog data entries we have are showcase data entries. Okay, so as of now, there are only showcase data entries in our results. We go to the upload data page. Note that the fields of this registration form are taken from the semantic data exchange ontology that is developed in Work Package 3. So keywords, title of data, dataset name, etc. are all concepts from the semantic data exchange ontology. Also note that the red stars mean that the fields are mandatory. So if we were to press the upload button before providing all the information, we would be asked to complete the form before trying to upload our data and fill out the information. With all the information filled in, we can now click the upload button. We click into the Explorer page again and see that our new data entry shows up in the empty search. If we now search for the keyword lithium, then we have some results from Materials Cloud, and we are also able to find our new data entry by searching for keyword. Data provider registration. We click into the Register tab, and then Register as Provider. We are taken to a registration form where we are asked to give some information about the platform that we want to register. So we fill it out by giving a platform name, description, checking out the platform type, and now if our platform conforms to any of the listed standards, we can check it off here, but let's for now say that it does not conform to any of the listed standards. Then we have to give a query URL. We can give a homepage URL as well. We check off whether or not this platform offers data free of charge. Let's say that it does. Then we choose the product type, topic, and lastly, we upload the metadata JSON file for our platform. With all the information filled out, we can click Register. So at this point, Dome is registering the asset, that is the provider, to the clearinghouse, as well as writing the information to the triple store. So this is why it is taking a little time. When the provider has been successfully registered, we are taken to the provider page that we see here, which summarizes the information that we just put into the form. Search for datasets. As we saw in the beginning of the demo, the Dome homepage has an area where we can search for data. So this is a simple keyword search, while if we want to make a more advanced search and add some filters, we can click this advanced search link here, or we can click into the Explore tab. Now we click into the Explore tab to get to the page where we can search for data. What actually happens when we click this tab is that Dome performs an empty search. And resulting from this search are all the data entries currently on Dome, so all the catalog data shown here, and also all the registered providers. So we see that the provider that we just registered, this example platform, shows up here, and we also have 3 other providers registered. And these 3 providers, Materials Cloud, Market 4.0, and Chemio, are actually real providers giving real data. We see that these 3 providers show up with a gray background color, the reason being that as of now, we do not have access to the data from these providers. So to actually be able to get data from these providers, we need to request access. And we will show how this is done later. We see that the provider that we just added has a white background and a click for more button, and that is because we do have access to the data from this platform. So when a user registers a data provider, the user will automatically have access to its data. Scrolling up a little bit, we see that the catalog data, that is the data that has been directly uploaded to Dome, is actually data from the showcases of Work Package 4. So we have real data entries in Dome. And on the right-hand side, we have a search field as well as some filtering options. So we can filter on the topic and on the product type. And the filtering options and all the choices here are taken from the ecosystem ontology that is being developed in Work Package 3. If we now click into one of these data entries, we see that we get some information about this data resource. And note that these fields are the same fields as we saw in the upload data form. That is the fields taken from the data exchange ontology. First, let's try to do a search by keyword to see if we can actually find the showcase data that we are looking for. So as an example, we here have weather data from showcase 1. So let's see if a search for weather can actually give back this data entry. Here we see that the search for the keyword weather gives us the weather data from showcase 1. So the catalog data on Dome, the showcase data, are findable by keyword. Now we try to do a simple search for carbon. So before adding any filtering options, we see that our search for carbon returned results from Cameo, from Market 4.0, and also from Materials Cloud. So there are a lot of different search results for when we search for carbon, and they are actually coming from 3 different providers. Now we want to refine our search a little bit and say we're looking for modeling data. Then we only want to see the data entries, the data from those providers that can offer modeling data. So we click this checkbox and we see that the result is updating. And now we get the same results as before, but only the ones from Materials Cloud, because Materials Cloud is the only one of the 3 platforms that offer modeling data. If we now click into one of these search results, now it is taking a little while because Dome is actually checking with the clearinghouse whether or not we have access to Materials Cloud and can view the data. Since we do not yet have access to Materials Cloud, we can only see the metadata, which is for now just dummy metadata. And we also see that to gain access, we have to click this Gain Access button and by that agree to the terms and conditions. Gain access to data. We click the Gain Access button and it is now again updating the clearinghouse. And we see that access is granted. If we now go back to the Explore page, then we see that Materials Cloud shows up with a white background because we now have access to this, to the data that this provider provides. If we now again search for carbon and click into this search result for Materials Cloud, see that the metadata has been switched out with the actual data because now we do have access to this provider and we are allowed to see the actual data. Visualize using external services. We now return to our search for carbon. We filter for modeling data and click into one of the results from Materials Cloud. Here we see that the data conforms to standard Optimate API specification. This means that it is compatible with AIDALab, and we can click this button to open this data in AIDALab. So let's try to click the button. And we can now visualize the molecular structure data with AIDALab. Check access log. By clicking the My Profile dropdown and choosing access log, we are taken to a page where we can see the access log for our user. So we see, for example, that access granted goes from false to true when we requested access to Materials Cloud. Different user access. Now, to show that different users have different access logs and access rights, we will log out and register a new user. Now that we have put in all the information, we register the new user. If we now look at the access log for demo user 2, we see that no logs are found, which is how it should be since we still have not accessed any data while logged in with this user. If we now click Explore and look at the platforms, the data providers, we see that the example platform that demo user 1 added is not accessible to us. So if we want to get data from this provider, we actually have to gain access by clicking this button. And by that, we have reached the end of the DOM 4.0 demonstration.